Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Jacob.
Hey, it's almost time for Thanksgiving.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah. Oh, this is the time of the year when I really want to be home. I miss Thanksgiving even more than Christmas because on Thanksgiving, we have 2 days off of work. Usually Christmas, sometimes you only get 1 day unless you use your personal vacation time. It's not like Guinea here in Taiwan at all. But Thanksgiving, we get Thursday and Friday off. And my brother who lives in another state will drive down, which is my favorite thing in the world because he's so funny and I love to be around him. And all the family gets together and we eat. And then on Friday, we have what we call Pie Day.
Pie Day.
Everyone brings pies. And we get to sit around and eat pie, any kind of pie for about, I would say, a good 6 hours. So it's fun.
That does sound fun.
Yeah.
So Thanksgiving, of course, is all about food, right? Family and food are the two main things at Thanksgiving.
Football.
Oh, okay, yeah, football in some places, sure.
We would turn on the football game in the background. Or you can play football outside in the backyard, like tag football.
Yeah.
You don't tackle people. Everybody has sort of a piece of cloth around their waist, and you try to pull it. And then you win.
flag football, that's
fun,
called,
yeah.
So. And then the other thing about Thanksgiving, of course, is the nap. So you have a big meal, and then maybe you have a little dessert, and it's in the afternoon, and you're tired because you've been eating a lot. And so you just
turkey.
Yeah, you just lie down sit down in a chair or lie down on the couch and you just take a nap for an hour, which is another Thanksgiving tradition.
Well, the guys do. If you're a girl or one of the women, you're probably cleaning up the dishes and getting other things ready. But, it's fun. I love Thanksgiving. We're going to be talking about turkeys, where they came from.
Okay.
Why do we eat turkey? I don't love turkey meat. I only eat turkey on Thanksgiving, to be honest. It's a healthy meat. It's a white meat that doesn't have as much fat in it. So that's one of the reasons why Taiwanese don't really like turkey very much. You guys like very juicy meat that has a lot of fat in it. And I don't blame you. That's the tasty stuff. Right now, we're going to read through this lesson. It's only one day. And then we'll be back to talk about these strange birds. It's Thanksgiving time in the U.S. This involves the traditional Thanksgiving dinner, which includes a freshly cooked turkey. But what is a turkey? And why does it share a name with the country Turkey, despite being native to North America? It seems like the appropriate time to get to the bottom of these burning questions. The story starts with a guinea fowl, a bird from West Africa. Apparently, these birds started showing up in England in the 1500s, and the English didn't know what to call them. They arrived from Turkey through spice trade routes, so the English called them turkey cocks or turkey hens. Meanwhile, in 1526, actual turkeys started to arrive in England from North America, and the English misunderstood them to be the same type of animal. Once people figured out that the two were different species, they used the shortened name turkey to refer to the American bird. That's not the end of the story, though. In other languages, the name for this bird has translations that are equally puzzling. For example, in Turkey, its name means the bird from India. The Greek name means French chicken, and the Portuguese name is Peru. But, as Shakespeare wrote, what's in a name? No matter what we call them, these peculiar animals have earned a place in our hearts, not to mention our stomachs. Happy Thanksgiving!
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our unit. This is Turkeys, the truth behind the name of these strange birds. Okay, right, so that's the interesting thing, that we have the bird, which is the turkey, and we also have the country of Turkey. Now, Turkey, the country, it's an interesting country because a large part of it is in Asia, but then a smaller part of it is right there kind of in Europe. So it's this place that kind of straddles two continents. It has, sort of an Asian feel to it, but then it also has a European feel. And, it's interesting because the birds, the turkeys in the United States, they don't really have any obvious connection to the country of Turkey, but we're going to find out what this link is. So it's Thanksgiving time in the U.S. Now, we talked about that, what that means to Stephanie and me and other Americans. And in Canada, of course, they have a Thanksgiving as well. I think it's held a little bit earlier, maybe in October. But this involves the traditional Thanksgiving dinner, which includes a freshly cooked turkey. Okay, so the freshly cooked turkey is kind of the main dish that a lot of people, a lot of families will have at Thanksgiving. But what is a turkey? And why does it share a name with the country Turkey, despite being native to North America? Okay, so if an animal is native to a place, we're talking about where it was originally found. Now, Taiwan has some native animals. The Formosan black bear, of course, is native to Taiwan, so you don't find it in other countries, this specific bear. So despite the turkey being native to North America, why do we call it Turkey, the name of this country in Europe and in Asia? So it seems like the appropriate time to get to the bottom of these burning questions. Okay, if something is appropriate, it just basically means it's the correct thing, the proper thing, the right thing. So this is the right time, the correct time, the appropriate time to answer this question.
It is the appropriate time. Appropriate just means something that's suited for a particular occasion. For example, you might have a job interview. Well, you need to wear the appropriate attire. Attire just is another word for set of clothes or your clothing that you wear. So if you have a job interview, you don't want to show up in shorts and a t-shirt. You want to kind of dress up to look like you are grateful for the opportunity and that you're a respectable person. So appropriate just means suitable, proper in a certain kind of situation, or proper in a certain kind of circumstances, you could say. So it seems like the appropriate time to get to the bottom of these burning questions. You'll often hear in English, especially if you're watching a movie or a TV show, you'll hear someone say, "We need to get to the bottom of this," which means there's some sort of mystery or something they don't understand, and they need to keep digging for clues in order to really figure out what's going on. So these are burning questions, questions that we have to know the answer to.
Okay, so let's go back now. We're going to go back in history. The story starts with the Guinea Fowl. Okay, the Guinea fowl, a bird from West Africa. Okay, that's interesting because Guinea is the name of a country, actually, in West Africa. And fowl, you see this word fowl here, F-O-W-L.
Yeah.
That can just be another name for bird. Okay, so we're talking about the Guinea fowl, which is a bird from West Africa. Apparently here is just a way that we can kind of introduce a thought. So apparently you might also say clearly or obviously or evidently. Everyone should know this. So apparently, these birds started showing up in England in the 1500s. Okay, so back then there was a lot of trade happening. I guess people and things from Africa would end up in Europe, or things from Europe would be moving to Africa. So there was some exchange, there was some trade, and these birds started showing up in England in the 1500s. That's 500 years ago. Okay, so we're going far back in time, and the English didn't know what to call them.
Yeah, you might have seen this name for the bird guinea fowl on cooking shows. They'll often cook guinea fowl. I don't particularly like eating small birds like pheasant or guinea fowl, but they're popular, especially among foodies, people who think they have a lot of knowledge about really deluxe dishes, you could say. So they arrived from Turkey through the spice trade routes. Sometimes that's how people got to know new spices and foods and fruits and vegetables. They would trade them as people came from one part of the world to another. It was kind of cool back then. Everything was kind of new as we started traveling around. The English back then called them turkey cocks or turkey hens. So if you've studied English, you probably know that the rooster is sometimes called a cock. We refer to them as roosters more often. And then the hens are the female version of the bird. So they called them turkey hens and turkey cocks. You could probably say the turkey cock was the rooster, or the male form. So meanwhile, at the same time, around that time, actual turkeys started to arrive in England from North America. So the English misunderstood them to be the same type of bird or animal. They weren't the same. One was coming from over in Turkey, and the other was coming from North America. So if you misunderstood's the past tense form, it means you don't understand exactly what's going on. Maybe you thought someone said a word and they said something else, or maybe someone said something to you in English and you couldn't understand them. So if you misunderstand, you fail to understand something correctly, or maybe you misinterpret something they said. So they misunderstood these two birds to be the same type. They weren't at all.
Or maybe they might have looked a little bit similar, let's say. But yeah, right. So the English got the wrong idea. You know, there was just maybe they saw them from far away or something, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's that turkey cock. Maybe, or the turkey hen, right? We've seen those before.
Right.
Again, this was 500 years ago, so people's ability maybe to sort of specifically recognize an animal, it wasn't as exact as it is now, or things like that. You know, these were new animals to people in England, so it was definitely a different time than it is now.
Yeah, remember back then there were no cameras.
Right.
If you wanted to see a picture of something, someone either had to paint it or draw it.
Right.
And not everybody has that talent, right? So I'm sure that a lot of things were misunderstood back then. But it was a fun time to live, I think, because everything seemed to be brand new. We're going to continue talking about the turkey and the truth behind the name of these strange birds. But first, we're going to take a quick break and listen to our Chinese teacher.
听众朋友大家好，我是安娜。其实11月就是一个感恩的季节，所以感恩的季节就叫做感恩节，感恩节就要吃火鸡，火鸡叫做 turkey， 可是火鸡为什么名字跟土耳其完全一模一样呢？这就是我们今天要探讨的一个话题。好，我们刚刚说啊，这个感恩节就是要吃这个火鸡，那在文章的第一段第二句就有提到这件事情。不过在这里啊，我们第二句可能要注意两个重点。第一个重点就是它有一个补充说明的关系子句，先行词是 the traditional Thanksgiving dinner， 补充说明的关系子句是逗点之后的汇聚到句尾。为什么要补充说明呢？因为这个所谓的传统的感恩节大餐是全世界都众所周知的，就是那一件事情，就是那个晚餐嘛，所以我们只要给它一个逗点之后的补充说明就可以了。那这个所谓的感恩节晚餐就包含了有一个刚烤好的、刚煮好的一个所谓的火鸡。那在这里第二个重点是什么呢？第二个重点是，其实这个句子的原本的动词啊，在一开始句子第二个字 involve， 跟在这里我们看到补充说明关系子句的 include， 它都会被翻成包含的意思。那 involve 跟 include 基本上它后面都会加上部分的元素或部分的成分，但是 involve 它的文意啊，通常是会包含有一些必要的元素。例如感恩节，当然除了吃感恩节大餐之外，还有一些感恩精神啦，甚至卡片啦这一类的都可以。但其中有一个必要的元素就是 traditional Thanksgiving dinner， 所以句子当中的包含先用了 involve。那当然在 dinner 当中就 include 另外一个部分的元素，就是所谓的一只火鸡。所以火鸡为什么呢？它会跟土耳其这个名字都叫做 turkey， 因为 turkey 本来是原产于北美，但是跟土耳其又有什么关系呢？其实故事要从 猪鸡开始。这个猪鸡出现在第二段第一句的地方，逗点前面有一个 Guinea Fowl， 它其实是西非的一种鸟。那为什么它会跟火鸡有关系呢？原来啊，在16世纪的时候，这个所谓的猪鸡呢，开始出现在 England， 在英格兰。那当时的英格兰人不知道怎么称呼他们嘛，但是猪鸡是从这个香料贸易的路线从土耳其抵达 England， 所以当时英国人啊，如果看到了这个所谓的猪鸡，他就会说 turkey cocks 如果是公的，或者是 turkey hens 如果是母的话。好，那很巧的是，因为1526年真正的火鸡从北美传入英格兰了，但是英格兰人以为是同样的东西耶。那我们在讲到这样子的一个起源的时候，先特别注意一下第二段第二句的地方。这里的第二句，请看最后面的 what to call them。 当然文艺上头我们中文会说英格兰人不知道怎么称呼他们，这个怎么好像感觉是 how， 可是你要想哦，我们如果叫某一个动物是什么名字，我们会说 we call this bird turkey， 所以其实叫什么动物什么名字的那个名字，它是一个名词的概念。中文说要怎么称呼，但是英文的回答是一个名字，是名词的概念。所以怎么称呼特别注意 what to call them， 你可以把这里的 what 特别圈起来。那它就跟我们第4段第二句 no matter what 的这个 what 是一样的意思，就是所谓叫出那个名字的意思。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. This is our fun unit, and we're talking about turkeys and the truth behind the name of these strange birds. When we left you, we were talking about how turkeys ended up coming into England from different areas. Some came from Turkey, the country, when they were doing trading on the spice trade routes. And then some turkeys came over from North America, meaning the Canada area, the area of North America there, just USA. And the English thought they were the same type of animal, but they really weren't. They were two different types of birds. So once people figured out that the two were different species, they used the shortened named turkey to refer to the American bird. So the American breed or type of turkey got to keep the shortened name turkey, and then the one that had come over from Turkey or Asia or the Mediterranean area, that held on to its turkey cock or turkey hen name.
Which is confusing, right?
Yeah,
It sounds like we have, kind of maybe similar birds, or you could mistake a guinea fowl for or a turkey hen or a turkey cock for this American bird.
Yeah.
But now we're giving them the same name, and everyone gets confused, right?
No.
Okay, but that's not the end of the story. Okay, good. So we can dig even deeper into this puzzle or this mystery about turkeys.
Right.
In other languages, the name for this bird has translations that are equally puzzling. Okay, so it's not just English that it's a little bit weird. For example, in Turkey, its name means the bird from India. Okay, That's interesting. So, right, we'd go to Turkey and we'd be like looking at the Turkish people and saying, hey, where can I get some turkey? And then they'd look at us saying, we don't know what you're talking about. And then you'd say, oh, well, where is the India bird? And then they would know. So, again, what's the connection? Why do Turkish people call it the Indian bird? No idea. We'd have to ask them. Okay, the Greek name. Greek here is the descriptive for Greece. Of course, Greece is a very, very beautiful country in the Mediterranean. When you think of the white houses with the blue roofs, that's very famous scenery in Greece.
And it's really close to Turkey.
Yeah, they're neighbors. They've actually fought a lot of wars, haven't they? The Greeks and the Turks?
They have.
Okay, so the Greek name means French chicken. Okay, why? Why would the...
Isn't that crazy?
Why would the Greeks call it French chicken? And the Portuguese name is Peru. of all things.
Which is also a name of a country.
Right. Yeah, right. The capital, Peru. Peru is a country in South America. And of course, here in Taiwan, we call the turkey the fire chicken.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why is it called fire chicken?
I don't know. Maybe I was guessing beforehand. I thought maybe it's a hot kind of food, in the Chinese medicine tradition.
Or maybe it's drier, so it has that kind of hot feel to it, maybe?
It definitely isn't very juicy.
No.
Usually, especially if you buy the kind that they've already sliced up for sandwiches. Sometimes I'll go to some of the bigger supermarkets and ask for火鸡. But yeah, it's hard to find sometimes to find turkey in Taiwan.
In Taiwan, actually, do you know the turkey capital of Taiwan? It's Jiayi. If you go to Jiayi,
oh really?
Yeah, you go down to Jiayi, and then I think they call it jirofan. They call it chicken rice, but my understanding is it's
turkey meat?
They use turkey meat in Jiayi. I don't know this was the case many years ago. I don't know if it's still the case today, but I would imagine.
Write in if you know any more about that. Let us know. We love to hear from the listeners. So yeah, there are all these different names based on where the country was naming them. So we've got turkey cocks, turkey hens, turkey. We've got the bird from India, and we've got French chicken, Peru, and in Taiwan, huoji. So our last paragraph kind of ends up saying, but as Shakespeare wrote, and this is a very famous quote, what's in a name? Well, your name is pretty much everything, isn't it? But here it says it's not really that important. What's in a name? It's who the person is, not what you call them, or what the animal is, not what you call it. No matter what we call them, these peculiar animals have earned a place in our heart. If something's peculiar, it's a little weird, a little strange. You can call people peculiar. Some people are just a little odd, right? Not everybody's the same. If someone's a little unusual or odd, or they have their own way of handling things or dealing with life, sometimes people will go, well, he's a little peculiar, a little odd. My dad would say, he's kind of an odd duck.
Okay.
I don't know where that came from.
An odd bird or an odd duck.
An odd duck. He would say odd duck, yeah. So they're weird, they're a little strange, but they have a place in our hearts, which just means they're important to us. And some people out there really love turkey, especially because it reminds them of family and Thanksgiving.
That's very true.
Yeah.
There's an interesting story about turkeys as it relates to U.S. history. Now, the national bird of the United States is the bald eagle, right? That's the famous bird that has brown feathers and a white head and a golden beak. And, you see it and flying in the air and you think that this is such a beautiful bird and it's very important because it's a symbol of the country. But Ben Franklin, actually, back when he was alive, this was in the 1700s, late 1700s, he thought that the turkey should actually be the national bird of the United States because he thought that it was more important. It was a smarter bird, he thought, and it was, and he thought that it kind of represented the spirit of the Americas more than the bald eagle did. Of course, he did not get his wish. The bald eagle became the symbol. But can you imagine if the turkey was the symbol of the United States and not the bald eagle?
No.
It's a very interesting story.
I think the eagle is so much more graceful and beautiful. So
yeah, I guess Ben Franklin thought that it wasn't intelligent. That's why he didn't want it to be the symbol of he thought it was a dumb bird. And
well, I'm not sure how smart a turkey is either.
I don't know.
They kind of run for their lives if you try to catch them.
But have you ever talked to one? I mean, maybe you'll find that it's pretty smart if you could talk to it.
No, I really haven't tried to talk to a turkey. So we do have one more phrase here in our article, not to mention. We use this sometimes when we talk about the importance of things we're listing. So no matter what you call them, these peculiar animals have earned a place in our hearts, not to mention our stomachs. So not to mention just means don't forget this part too. It could be even more important. How would you use this yourself? Not to mention, Jacob.
It kind of is a way to reinforce a point that you already made by adding another detail to a thought. So the thing that came to mind is George Clooney. You of course probably remember him. He's a famous actor. He was on ER and then the Ocean's 11 movies and things like that. Well, George Clooney is a good actor, not to mention handsome as well. Okay, so he can not only act, but he's also, a pretty good-looking fella. So we can say that he's a good actor, not to mention handsome as well.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's it on turkeys. We hope you learned a lot today. Now you know that these turkeys, even though they're strange, they are well loved by many people, and they hold a special place in our hearts and our stomachs because that's one day when everybody in America overeats a lot.
That's true.
I probably eat about 3 times the calories on Thanksgiving that I do on any other day. But it's okay because that's what we do. We hope you enjoyed this. We're going to listen to our Chinese teacher one more time to explain a little bit more, and then we'll be back to wrap it up.
后来啊，大家就开始了解到啊，原来是不同的物种哦。一个是西非来的 Guinea Fowl， 虽然是从土耳其抵达英格兰的，那后来从北美开始又有真正的 Turkey 的时候呢，他们干脆就是直接呢，英格兰人就说从美洲来的叫 Turkey， 那如果是从土耳其来的这种 Guinea Fowl 的话，公的就叫做 Turkey Cocks， 母的就叫做 Turkey Hens。原来是因为这个关系呀，Turkey 火鸡才会跟土耳其的名字是一样的。不过 Turkey 这个字，火鸡这种鸟还不是真正的结局哦。我们看一下第3段，很特别。首先第一句最后面逗点逗，只要是 though 前面加了一个逗点，它就不是虽然的意思，它就是副词的 however。然而这还不是故事结局哦。为什么呢？因为在其他语言当中，这种鸟的名字啊，也有令人困惑的翻译。同样在第3段，我们请看一下第2句的地方，它有一个先行词 translations， 带着限定用法的关系子句 that 一直到句尾。那这里的关系子句呢，因为是限定用法，所以我们的括号这个关系子句就要先翻。同样也很令人困扰的 translation 的翻译哦。比如说在 Turkey 这种火鸡，它的名字的意思是来自印度的鸟，在希腊它的名字的意思就是法国的鸡，而在葡萄牙语当中 Portuguese 当中，那么它的名字叫做 Peru 不是秘鲁吗？所以这个火鸡怎么搞的？在每一个国家它的名字都怪怪的呢，好像都没有那种北美火鸡的感受。不过啊，这个文章当中第4段下的结论也很特别，他说正如莎士比亚所写，名字里面又有什么呢？好，我们来看一下第4段的第1句。我们曾经说过，句子一开始如果是 as， 后面又碰到了动词 Shakespeare wrote， 那它一定是连接词的用法。那这个连接词有可能是 when because 或如同好像，就要根据上下文去推断。在这里是举 Shakespeare 他所常说的那一句话，在罗密欧与朱丽叶这个故事当中的这个很著名的这个台词当中 What's in the name， 所以我们是借由他的这样子的一个句子来去比喻名字里面到底有什么呢？就如同莎士比亚所说的，名字里面其实什么都没有，所以尽管吃火鸡吧。那当然这个奇特的动物在我们心中占有一席之地，只要是11月我们就来吃个烤火鸡。好，最后就跟大家说 Thanksgiving Day， 感恩节快乐咯 Happy Thanksgiving。 我是 Anna， 我们下次见。
That's it for this particular unit, our fun unit. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you'll join us again soon. For English Digest, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Jacob.
Bye.
Bye-bye.